Something big is happening. Doge audits keep uncovering government waste like a never-ending magician's scarf, and left-wing media figures like Rachel Maddow have lost their sense of sanity trying to cover for it. I need to show you the bombshells that Elon Musk keeps revealing, but take a look at this clip from Rachel Maddow from just last week that is now coming back to bite her in the butt.
The government does all sorts of things for which we need experience, expertise, accumulated and institutional knowledge, a stable training base, and a stable work environment in which professionals can oversee sensitive, complex, and life or death matters of 1,000 different kinds. What we have now instead is this wreckage. If you voted for Donald Trump, this is what you were voting for.
Precisely what's happening right now is exactly what this country voted for by a popular majority, because there's nothing more ironic than her lecturing over competence when she has spent the last 4 years taking a firing position against anyone that dared question Joe Biden's mental faculties. And what are the Democrats even trying to prove by telling people Elon Musk is unelected? We know. He's a political appointment for a particular job, just like nobody elected Anthony Fauci, but he was appointed to be chief medical advisor that decided the most crucial aspects of our response to the pandemic. But it's still really telling that while Doge uncovers billions in waste and literally trillions in untraceable payments, that's still not making the headlines in left-wing media. So what are they doing instead? Elon Musk told a funny story of the Trump derangement syndrome in some segments of the far left that he believes definitely exists, and it's increasingly becoming the only explanation for why figures like Rachel Maddow are more interested in political platitudes than being shocked at what Doge is discovering.
I mean, I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really didn't.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. And I didn't, you know, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no idea, but if you're friends with him, yeah, you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk into a restaurant in New York and it's like half the room it's daggers and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane. Yeah. I mean, there was like I had like some invitation because so I got invited to like basically a big sort of damn event like. That was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect, you know, how I was received. I mean, I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like, if looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
By the way, Rachel, that saves you and me and all of us money. It's hilarious and sad at the same time. The level of arrogance that plagues the Democrats and media establishment toward the average person and their belief is what has shut them closed in a bubble. But there's something truly sinister when the arrogance blinds you to literally attack a person in a department like Doge, whose entire purpose has been to stop the theft of taxpayer money happening directly or indirectly in the entrenched government bureaucracy. While the mainstream media wants to shoot the messenger, what Doge is uncovering should be a shock to every American across the political divide. It revealed last week that $4.7 trillion, yes, trillion with a T, of federal spending were literally untraceable because of an access code for the payments deliberately being left blank. For a bit of context, that's like a country with the third largest GDP on Earth literally having its entire yearly revenue completely untraceable. Not just that, even welfare programs like Social Security were alleged to have financial rot from the inside when White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt hinted that there could be millions of deceased people still receiving security benefits. with no one knowing where the money's actually going.
And I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments. And so their goal in going into the Social Security Administration is to identify three things. Number one, to identify duplicate payments and to end them. Number two, to identify payments that are going to deceased people who are no longer living and should no longer be receiving that money. And number three, to protect the integrity of this system for hardworking Americans who have been paying into it their entire lives. So rest assured to all of the people watching your show tonight, if you paid into the system honestly, you will continue to receive your Social Security checks. Do not buy into the lies from the legacy fake news media who are trying to fear you and scare you into believing otherwise.
So tell me this, is that partisan? Government expenditure always has a natural tendency to expand, and it's been ballooning for decades, unchecked because there's been nothing like Doge that's actively going in to cut government fat. Not just that, at this time when national debt has crossed $35 trillion, you'd think the left would be all on board slashing wasteful spending to avoid an inevitable government shutdown. Now, add to this the fact that the rampant money printing of the past 5 years after the pandemic has already robbed the average American of their vital purchasing power. There's literally nothing that fits more like a puzzle piece in this spending crisis than Doge. And even though it has just been the first month, there's already talks that the average American taxpayer may be a direct beneficiary of the savings from Doge, with Elon Musk having suggested to the president that rebate checks could be sent to Americans worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars from the saved spending bills.
Which is now really waging war on government waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're curbing inflation and saving taxpayers billions and billions of dollars every single day. And there's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt, because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens and 20% down to pay back debt and pay down debt, which is, if you look at value, if it were a real estate balance sheet, the debt is tiny, but we still want to pay it down. Doesn't matter.
Now, while this is just a proposal at this point, it's still inarguable that reduced waste in government means more money in the pockets of the everyday American people, whether it's through rebates, more spending on actual welfare, or paying off the national debt. And right now, I think the strategy that both Donald Trump and Elon Musk are going with is to just keep pushing through all the barrage of ridicule and criticism until they get to the point of tangible results. But let me know if you see that panning out over the next few months and years, because I think that this past month has already been one of the most eventful few weeks in politics that I can remember in my entire life.